podcast. I'm joined by my co-host, KiwiLucas.
In the budget.
It's, yeah, sure. What would you like your graphic to say this week?
Kiwi Lucas.
Sure. Graphic.
Yeah, all right, I'll take it.
How you been this last week?
Um, Mostly bored. Haven't done a whole lot. I come out of lockdown on Wednesday, so that's fun. I work at a high school, so like I was in like school holidays, which didn't get to do anything. So straight. Oh, I get Wednesday out of lockdown, and then we back to school on Thursday. So we do Thursday, Friday, and then we got a long weekend. Like,
Perfect. That's awesome.
why
That's
don't they
what you
just
want.
start, why don't they just start it up next like the week after? Like, why don't they start up on a Tuesday? Why have us start back on a Thursday? Like, come on.
They got to get you back as
And,
early as possible, I guess. They can't have any delays.
yeah, well, it's like because our seniors will be going to exams and stuff like that. So,
Yeah.
like, I think our like year 13s, year 12s, and all that sort of thing, they go into exams in like the second or third week. So
No,
yeah,
okay.
they can't really. Yeah. Um, I went to the beach the other day. That was good. I think I spoke about this with you, but like my housemates were just playing like island music like non-stop for like a good like 48 hours, and it broke me, and I had to get out of the house and do something else. Like, I got
Well,
like over the weekend, I probably got like a combined of like maybe 5 hours sleep. I was just like, I need to go do something. So I went to the beach. Oh, I went to like not really the beach. It's kind of like there's a beach area, and then I went round on the rocks and that sort of thing, and laid out on the rocks by where the waves are crashing. It was just like this is holiday mode.
sounds perfect. Like we've been playing a few games over the weekend and everything, so I could definitely hear the frustration in your voice. Like the longer that 48 hour period went, you were more and more annoyed of the same repetitive music that you were hearing the whole time. So yeah,
Like I have no problem with like island music in moderation. And it's purely to the like point of when you hear a song in a different language that you don't understand, and the like instrumental doesn't catch you, or the instrumental is very similar in a lot of songs, it just all blends into one. And it could be two different songs, but to me it's yeah, it's hard, man. It's hard.
I should
But we got through it.
I should say this, by the way. Technically, it has been 2 weeks because one of us have been, uh, I would say, busy and lazy, not editing the podcast. So you're probably
I won't
watching.
say busy. You were sitting there procrastinating one day, talking to us when you said you were editing it.
I was editing. I also had a 33 hour stream the day before, and needed my recovery from that. So this podcast will be probably out first, and then we might do a little bonus podcast on the weekend or something like that. So for everyone watching, we'll fill in that gap from the last week that I was supposed to not be slack and put a podcast out, and put two out this week. So there you go, and a YouTube video as well on my personal channel. So make sure you make sure you subscribe to that too, and yeah, Lucas, you've put some more content on Game Train as well, haven't you?
Oh well, it'd be weird. I think probably not. It depends when this is released. Because did we? My first Ori, I think we talked about that on last week's one, or was that the week before?
I'll pull it
I'm not too
up.
sure.
Game
So look,
Train.
I'll talk about it anyway, and if we talked about it in last week's one, Brandon can go through and cut it. So
Nope.
not from this week. You can cut it from next week's one, which you said you're gonna edit.
Yeah, I know, but I feel like we can bring it up. It says it came out. Um, let's just mute
It came
that.
out not last week, but the week before.
Week before, so we would have probably talked about it last week, but it just wouldn't have come up. So
Yeah.
yeah,
But yeah, no, I've been playing through Ori. Really fun, really beautiful game. I've done two recordings. I've only posted one on the Game Train page so far. We should have a group video going up this week of Keith finishing the editing. Otherwise, if he doesn't finish that, then I might just drop the part 2 of Ori, which is like me just struggling with a platformer for like an hour. Like, I think I made some progress, but it felt like I made absolutely no progress. Like, it was just me smacking my head against the wall for like an hour.
well, it seems like
Like, I just,
that type of game where it's like so much and so little are going on that you're not 100% sure. I feel like just based on your gameplay.
yeah.
I will be honest, it is kind of nice to see, and this might make me sound very, not like a good person, but someone like struggling their way through a game because you don't really see that too often, or maybe I don't, and it is just kind of like cool because I know I'd struggle through that game, and yeah, I just feel like it's fun to watch that, and it's different kind of content than what you might see somewhere else. So, yeah,
I definitely have my days with platformers, man. That some days I'll be like on top of the world, killing it, and then other days it would just be like, nah, nah. I feel like I am the most what would be the term for it? Like, I'm the most up and down with games. Like, some weeks I'll be like killing it, and then other weeks I'll just be like the utmost like lead weight teammate ever. So it all depends on where I am with my brain at that time. I know I've been playing a lot of Ark with the guys, and when I play Ark, I can either be like the most productive person ever, or I can sit there and play on a frog for like 2 hours and do absolutely nothing but like annoy other people. So depends where my mental state's at.
I feel like being in lockdown, that it's definitely spending 2 hours chasing a frog or playing around with a frog would be where I could imagine you're at. So I'd be really surprised if it's not that at the moment.
I did a lot of stuff to progress our Ark worlds. Um, Mainly just going around to like other servers that I've had in the past and gathering up all my like good dinos that I had left, and I got some good boys, and yeah, because we're in like a non-dedicated server, so it means like the host has to be online for us to be able to play the world. And one of our mates, Jackson, he's the host, and he's working on a few of his like last uni assessments, so he hasn't been on a whole lot. So yeah, I'm just
Going
getting
back
through.
to platformers though, would you say you were a platform kid? Like, did you play many growing up or anything?
So I think I said it on last week's podcast, but
It's really hard to
no,
reference that podcast without it being up, right? Because I feel
yeah.
like we've talked about things like I'm not 100% sure what we've talked about. So, yeah, go on.
But like my first game ever was Super Mario World. And that's the first game I ever played. My grandparents owned it, and so like me and my cousin played through a fair bit of that. But no, I it kind of 3D platformers. Yeah, I was Super Mario 64, Banjo Kazooie. Like they're not they weren't games that I bought, but I definitely played them and that sort of thing. Yeah, I don't think I've ever really been a platformer guy. I've like the first game that I got for myself. was Ocarina of Time, which is open world action adventure. And then other than that, it was like Pokemon games. So yeah, it wasn't really platformers for me. So coming into like that sort of thing, and I've honestly never been attracted to platform like side scroller platforming games. That's what's like. It's really weird in the last, oh, I'd say 2 months or so. I've just been like, yo, Ori looks really cool, and Metroid Dread, that looks really cool.
Yeah, I don't think we actually talked about this on the podcast, but that came out last week, and I think everyone's having fun playing it. I heard it's really hard, but really fun too. So
Yeah,
one that I haven't bought yet, but I'm keen to check it out. So we'll see how we go. It's
yeah.
just
I don't see myself buying it, unfortunately. I like I know my cousin watches this podcast every now and again, so Harry, when I'm back in Australia, hopefully you've bought it and I'll borrow it off you. So thank you.
Fingers crossed. Hope he's enjoying the podcast. I do. I know we're quite a small podcast, so it's really nice. I went to an event on the weekend, and a few people were, not everyone was watching it, but a few people talked about, how's the podcast? We talked about this and everything. So it's nice to have those kind of stories of people watching the podcast. So yeah, I really appreciate it, and Lucas, I know you do as well. So
Yeah, yeah. It's
yeah.
it's really weird. Like, um, I think I've talked to you this off stream before or like off recording before, but like the random people that like end up watching it, that like it's not the people you expect, like your close friends. I know like a good mate of mine that I played rugby with over here. His missus watches like a lot of the content that we post or like I post. Like she's watched most of my like game train videos as well. And it's just like that little stuff, like even just a view or a subscribe or a follow or whatever, that sort of thing. It's at this stage in the sort of journey, it's you actually really start to appreciate it, and it's I think like it would suck being at that high level and not appreciating each and every sort of follow as much. I think it's weird. Like like your big streamers, it's like one follower is just kind of like nothing to them, whereas like
There's literally top end streamers that will say, yeah, you're just a number to them. And it's
hmm,
kind of. I completely understand where they're coming from because there are some very, very dedicated, let's call it, people out there
yeah,
that will almost religiously follow streamers and YouTubers and stuff like that. But I don't know, I just feel like at the same time, it's nice to be down to earth and like you said, it's a journey, and we're both on it, and it's just one of those things that I really appreciate about it as well, and I think that's why I really like doing the podcast with you because we're both very similar in that sort of aspect, I should say.
friendly neighborhood podcast.
Episode 50, we dress up as Spider Man.
Do that. I could do that.
If
Actually, I think we talked about you dressing up like last week, but yeah.
Probably. We talked about a lot of things. There's something else I wanted to mention that I completely forgot about. So no one else will know what it is, but it's probably in last week's podcast too, hopefully. Going back to platformers though, I smashed Crash Bandicoot so hard as a child. I
Yeah.
remember playing all three of them, the first, second, and third one. Um, I think I have two or three. I might have them both on PlayStation 1 somewhere. Probably very close to unplayable, if at all, still in one piece. But they're around and the Spyro games as well. So I was kind of a bit more versed in the platformer on the PlayStation side than Nintendo. But kind of growing up, I lost touch with platformer games completely. I never played anything really until I borrowed your PSP and played Crash 3 again.
Um,
um,
I played through some of Crash One because a friend of ours, like growing up, they had Crash One, and so, or it was a friend of my sister. So anytime we went round there, my sister and their friends would hang out, and I'd have nothing to do, and I'd be like, "Oh, they've got a PlayStation, let's play this." So I got through a fair bit of Crash just playing by myself, and they wouldn't let me use a memory card, so it was like I had to play through just as much as I could in a single like session. So yeah, I never owned Crash. Yeah, I guess you call Spyro would be a 3D platformer. So I played a fair bit of that because we had a PS1, which was technically my sister's, but like I probably played it more than her anyway, and there was more games for us. Digimon World, that was my game.
I don't like. I swear I was too young to comprehend it, or maybe I don't know. Because all I remember from that game, and I'd never owned it. I think I rented it from Blockbuster or whatever the equivalent was. All I remember from that game is being able to shit on command as a Digimon.
Oh yeah,
that's that. I think every game needs a shit on command feature, but that's all I remember from Digimon. Um,
I really want to get like the like a ROM version of it and go play it because man, like I know like there was so much more to the game that I never got to. Like even looking at like the back cover of the thing, I'm just like, I've never seen any of this. Like I probably like just I walked around in like the starting area and just fought stuff. That was about all I did. But I loved it, man.
well, that's and I will get my one mention out of the way early. um, okay, yeah, Lucas has left the podcast for now. um, Final Fantasy VII did come out in '97, right? And it's my favorite game. Now, I didn't get to play it until I was a teenager slash early adult. So you really like, and if I played it when it came out, I would have been 2 years old. So I wouldn't have even
Yeah, I was gonna say.
comprehended anything. Um, Growing up, I heard bits and pieces. I played the Kingdom Hearts game. We'll get into that in a minute too, because I'm excited about that. But yeah, and just going back and comprehending that game, especially, and playing it for what it was. I think I finished it once and nearly twice now. Um, yeah, it's amazing, and I don't want to like get on the Final Fantasy VII train or suck it off any more than I do every week. But can you think of any other examples you have of something similar to that? Like, I'm assuming Digimon World was one that you said you'd want to go back and play. Is there anything else like that?
It's funny. This is not actually a game I played. There was a guy that lived like over the hill from me. Like he lived pretty close. That he was actually like a Final Fantasy guy like growing up. So I did see his, but the games that I've wanted to get into, see that moth. Sorry, the games that he had that I really want to get into is the Metal Gear games, like the early Metal Gear games, because I really enjoyed Metal Gear 5, um, even though it was kind of like not finished. Um, but yeah, I really enjoyed Metal Gear 5, so I've always wanted to, like, apparently they're doing remakes of like the original couple, so I would love to get into that and play those.
Well, I don't actually know the story at all. Sorry to cut you off.
You're
I
fine.
don't know the story at all, but I think, and I'm really excited to go back and play those too because I've missed them. Um, I think they're starting with three because I think three is quote unquote the start of the story, and they're doing then one and two or however it works. But I'm really excited to play through them all as well because, yeah, they were games I missed too.
Well, 5 is the earliest. So
Okay.
I think 5 rolls into 3. Yeah. So 5 is basically a giant prequel. That moth is attacking me now. It's not happy with me.
I remember playing five. I just either dropped it pretty early or finished it
Yeah.
and then gave up, or I can't remember. It was very weird game to play, not being familiar with the universe, I think.
Similar. I got into it and probably played like 5 hours maybe, and I was just kind of like, okay, yeah. And then there was something else out at the time that the guys were playing or something, so I just went and played that and kind of put Metal Gear down. And then like I think it was like a year later, like I was living in a share house with another couple of guys, and like we had it on the main TV, and it was just kind of like I was like, I'm going to give back into it. And then I ended up dropping like 50 hours into the game with just doing like random side quests or like trying to get like S rank, like, which, yeah, like the top tier rank you can get in that mission. So it's just going to be like super stealthy and like using cardboard boxes to hide from people and shit like that. It's a fun game if you just get into like the silliness of it too.
That's awesome. Because my
Yeah.
introduction to Solid Snake was I knew who the character was because he's very iconic, but I don't think I knew of the character apart from he's from Metal Gear Solid until he was in Smash Brothers Brawl.
Yeah.
And I bring that up because I do want to talk about the importance of Smash in a second because of how big it's gotten. It's crazy that I think I can imagine I'm not the only person to experience that with that character, and other people would have experienced with many other characters too. So
That would have
yeah,
been my first time playing him.
yeah, that's crazy, isn't it? It's just
Yeah.
almost mind blowing to me.
I mean, there's a lot of characters in Smash that like literally that would have been the first time I've ever heard, like the Fire Emblem guys, that sort of thing. Pit, I never would have played any of their games without Smash Bro.
Yeah,
Uh,
Mario is a huge one. Like, who is that guy without Smash? um,
that's Chris Pratt, right?
did we discuss that on the podcast previous? Yeah, yeah, we did. That's I can't wait for that movie. Um, Keith already owes me a chili because he hasn't appeared back on the podcast, and he owes me one for doing a 24+ hour stream. So Keith, I'm calling you out. You got to eat that fucking chili on the podcast, all right? But I can't wait for him to have to owe me 2 chilies for when this movie's going to suck too. Because I have
Great tens out of
Man.
100.
See, that's perfect. That's what I want, so I don't have to eat any more chilies. Um, but why I brought up Smash Brothers and Snake in Smash Brothers, I guess it's kind of where the conversation went. But so we did talk about it last week. Sora, last character of Smash Brothers. I think it's an awesome conclusion. I know you had your disappointment in it, Lucas. But you can watch that in the last podcast. I will say, I just think it kind of wraps everything up really well. As a character in Smash Brothers who won a poll years ago and they couldn't get him into the game, it kind of encapsulates what Smash Brothers became. Where Smash Brothers Ultimate, the tagline for the game trailer, the first one was "Everybody is here." So it's
Yeah.
kind of this big culmination. I think it would be, and this is just me talking, this isn't anything official or anything. I think it's the biggest crossover video game of all time.
Oh, 100%.
I
Has to be.
think
Yeah.
the only argument you can have is Fortnite, but I think Smash is 100% bigger than that.
Well, no, yeah, I couldn't call it like Smash Bros. Like I know Fortnite's had like a massive impact in the last couple of years, but like Smash Bros. Dating back to the Nintendo 64, like unbeatable, man, unbeatable.
And you got literally characters that you'd never think to see in a Nintendo game. Cloud, Sephiroth, Sora, all from Square Enix, and they had their big argument with Nintendo. Literally, Final Fantasy VII was the game that they argued with Nintendo for. What else? Solid Snake, which I always thought Metal Gear Solid was a PlayStation game. That's pretty
Yeah.
wild. Sonic, Pac Man. I'm trying to think of the
What
Smash
Pac-Man
roster.
was in there, man? Oh my god.
Ryu.
I'm looking at the character list now.
Yeah, I just pulled it up. There's a fighters list. So you got Hero from Dragon Quest. Minecraft, Steve and Alex. That's crazy. Like, and Kazuya from Tekken. Like another huge fighting game in its own right, and he's in Smash Brothers. So mind blowing sort of like list there.
They
And,
got the guy from Persona.
mm-hmm.
That's huge. Like I think I want to play a Persona game at some point.
I've heard nothing but amazing things from number 5, and especially if you
Yeah.
like this kind of JRPG. There he is. That moth is huge. He is coming after you.
It's not that big. It's just that was really close to the camera.
Some trick photography there from the moth.
Yeah, my camera's actually quite far away, but I'm quite zoomed. So
it looked like a killer moth though. Honestly, why isn't that thing in Smash
it probably
Brothers?
is. It's waiting till I fall asleep, and it's going to strangle me to death. You heard it here first, folks.
Yeah, if you don't see Lucas on next week's podcast, you know why.
Here, rain, hail, or shine.
Going through this list a bit more though, you have Mega Man, Little Mac, Ryu, Ken, Bayonetta, Isabelle from and Villager from why am I drawing a blank right now? Thank you. Why did I draw a blank on Animal Crossing?
Simon, Richter,
yeah. So I've
Castlevania.
heard those Castlevania games are really, really hard too. So be a fun challenge.
No interest. But I'm looking at it. So there's Joker from Persona. I've played a little bit of Dragon Quest. I've played no Fire Emblem. Played barely any Final Fantasy. I haven't played any Kingdom Hearts. Played a little bit of Tekken. Haven't played any Xenoblade. Haven't played any of that ARMS game. I can't even remember what Terry's from. What's Terry from?
Virtual Fighter.
Kingdom of Fighters?
Terry is Fatal Fury.
Fatal Fury, yeah.
Which I think is an
Don't think I've
old
even
game. An old fighting game.
Never even played it or heard of it. So that's just the DLC characters.
Yeah. Piranha Plant being in there is a bit of a wasted space for me, honestly. I don't think Piranha Plant should have got a spot on this whole list of characters. Let's put Piranha Plant in there.
Have you played Piranha Plant?
It's ridiculous. Yeah,
they're
not supposed to move.
Hey?
They're like plants. It should be potted and not moving.
It's potted.
Yeah, I feel like the pot moves. No, it drives me insane. I don't get it.
A few of their games.
I suppose, but it came at a time where everyone thought Waluigi, okay, he didn't make the roster, and he didn't make the list at all, actually, which is really funny. But it did come at a time where everyone thought, okay, Waluigi's first DLC, and looking at the whole list now, he's not here at all. So
still reckon they're going to drop him randomly sometime just to take the piss. Or if they make another one, he has to be the first character announced. I think that would be next console generation, next Smash Bros game. They just Smash Bros logo and then Waluigi steals it and runs away or something like that. I think that would be next level. People would lose their minds just because it's such a meme at this stage.
I think Sakurai is going on a long, long vacation before the next Smash Brothers game, though. And he deserves it. If you guys don't know, Sakurai is the president and the director of Smash Bros. So, sorry, director of his own company, which is Sora, which is Japanese for Sky. And he's the director of Smash Brothers, who they commissioned to make Smash Brothers. Yeah. So he's obviously been working on this game or this series non-stop for years now. So I think he's finally deserved a nice holiday and a break, and he'll have to go from there, I think.
Yeah. Oh, they definitely sold it that they could 100% be done with Smash Bros. After this one, but there's no way they finish without even just re-releasing this one on whatever next console comes up. There's no way there's not going to be Smash Bros in the future.
Well, I think that obviously Smash Bros makes a shit ton of money. That's not a secret. It's a massive, massive game. I think it broke records when it came out to be the number third Nintendo game, or it was whatever the records were. I don't actually know. Um, I think without a doubt we're seeing Smash Bros again. I
Yeah.
don't know if it'll be at the caliber of Ultimate, um, and that just comes from the licenses, the characters, everything that's going to happen in the future. If Sakurai even wants to work on it, or if he's going to pass down the project to someone else. Who knows? And it's obviously all up in the air at the moment. Because this game's literally the final character comes out tomorrow. So good soup.
It's,
Yeah, so the last character comes out tomorrow. So whether we see or don't see Smash Brothers isn't a question. I think we 100% see a new Smash Brothers game eventually. I just don't know if it'll be the same caliber as Ultimate was and what Ultimate really represents, which is a ton of different characters from different franchises beating the shit out of each other.
I want another Pikmin game. I just seen Olimar. I want another Pikmin game. Give me another Pikmin game.
I've never played a Pikmin game, and I can imagine they're like that same caliber of Animal Crossing almost, but I wouldn't have any idea.
Nothing like Animal Crossing.
I mean that more as like a relaxing kind of chill out game, or is it? Am I wrong? I'm wrong.
Like, it's they're almost their own genre in that it's kind of like I don't know. It's kind of like an action adventure, but like, yeah, it's so hard to explain. I legitimately don't know how to explain it. You go on like an adventure as like Olimar, and he finds these little Pikmin characters, and he's got to use the Pikmin to like gather up parts of his ship and fix his ship. But like Olimar's like this big or something like that, so like, well, he's tiny, so like he's getting attacked by like ladybugs and stuff like that, and it's kind of like it's made to be like they're scary and that sort of thing. Like, it's a fun game, man. I really enjoyed the first one. I don't think I finished it when I like first played it, and I went back to play it over Christmas like last year, and I was gonna play it on my GameCube, and the laser's broken on my GameCube, so
Oh no.
I didn't end up playing it. Yeah, I need like it apparently just needs to be like recalibrated or something, which is it's an easy fix, but I never did it, and I could have just gone and played the game on Wii, but it was just
The nostalgia
just not
hits on
cricket.
GameCube. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
I feel like
So
did you play Pikmin 3 at all?
no, I played maybe 2 minutes of it on my cousin's computer. He had the ROM for it, and we were trying to get it working because it's obviously it was a Wii U game,
Yeah.
so it had like the touchpad functionality, so it was kind of didn't work using the ROM. So I know it's on Switch, but I can't really shell out like the Nintendo money for a game that's technically last generation. Like
Yeah,
that's why I want a new one. Like I would pay like this generation money for this generation Pikmin. Like
yeah,
Nintendo kind of got away with re-releasing a lot of Wii U games that no one played because they didn't market the Wii U well enough.
yeah, and they got away with it like it was nothing too. Like we talk about PlayStation or Sony charging $10 for an upgrade like they're the devil, and Nintendo are out there being like, "Hey, please buy our video game again. We're going to charge full price, and you're going to pay it." Like, I think
I think we've said it on the podcast before, but like no one hates Nintendo like more than Nintendo fans.
yeah, yeah, I think I remember us saying that one.
Yeah.
But yeah, no. Moving on. DC fandom was yesterday. Did you? So sorry, Sunday. I should say Sunday because it was Sunday and this is going out Wednesday. Did you see it? Did you watch it?
I didn't watch it live, but I like sucked in like pretty much all the information that's like important to me. So, new Batman trailer. God damn! Like heaps of people are like, "Yeah, that's an awesome trailer." I didn't really like the trailer, and I guess I probably didn't watch it in like the full experience. I just had it on my phone, and I was like, "Oh yeah, this is cool." I'm 100% sold to watch like Batman Patterson Batman. I don't know what they're gonna how they how
Patterman,
there's like Batfleck,
Pat. Yeah.
yeah, Patterson, yeah. But yeah, I'm 100% sold, keen on it. I know like the movie's done apparently. Like people have seen it and watched it. Like it's like a lot of like pre-production sort of things. But apparently, like what it doesn't come out till like March or something next year or something.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. I haven't actually seen it at all yet, honestly.
It
Um,
looks good, man.
um, I'm actually. I
Yeah,
know.
yeah,
Sorry, sorry. I
yeah.
know I talked about it off stream with you, but I'm such a DC fan compared to Marvel, and like they were my superheroes growing up, and I always thought Superman, Batman, Green Lantern were the coolest superheroes and stuff like that. I don't give a shit about the movies. I really they just disappoint me so much now that it's just yeah,
See,
okay.
like this isn't technically DCEU, so like
Even
I feel
then,
like
like I just
all of these movies that haven't been part of them have been good movies though. Like I know you haven't watched Joker, have you?
haven't seen Joker.
Joker's very good, very good.
Yeah, but
Depressing, but good.
like I hear that it's not even a DC movie either. Like realistically in a whole, it's kind of just it's a mental illness movie.
Yeah,
And I just don't think I want to see a movie like that, and that's why I haven't seen it
yeah.
yet.
I can
Um,
understand that.
it's just not what I want to do. Like I'm
Yeah, yeah,
usually pretty happy, pretty chill. It looks like an awesome movie. Maybe I'll see it one day. I'm not like absolutely no, I'll never see that movie. But
yeah,
uh, man, we need less depression out there and more happiness. And if I have to sit through a movie about that, it's yeah, nah, not for me. Hey, um,
yeah. I understand that. Um, yeah, a lot of DC stuff. They've gone that approach of dark and brooding. Um, this is like I know this movie. They're going for. Have you ever heard of the Long Halloween storyline?
yeah, yeah,
So that's apparently that's pretty much the adaptation we're getting. It like the story's based over a week, and like the main character is the Riddler, and like the main adversary is the Riddler, and he's playing like a jigsaw sort of role from like the Saw movies. Like
okay.
he's tormenting, and like he's almost got the upper hand on Batman the whole way, and it's meant to be like a noir detective style film. So
Who's
I'm
playing?
really excited for it. Dude.
Who's playing Riddler? Do you know?
Uh, oh, I know, I can picture the actor in my head, but I can't think of his name. Um, is it Paul Dano?
Let's have a look. I'm on the IMDb
Oh,
now. Yeah, Paul Dano.
yeah, that was yeah. Pull that out of my hat somehow.
Yeah.
But yeah, like it's got like Peter Skarsgård. It's got what's his name? Colin Farrell. Colin Farrell look like is completely changed. Like he looks like Cobblepot from the movie. Like he looks like
Oh, he's playing Cobblepot?
yeah, he dude like he looks like comic book Penguin. If you have a look at any screenshots of him as Penguin, it's like spot on. It's crazy, man.
I'll put the trailer in the background. I haven't actually seen it yet, so this will be like a slight reaction, but for the sake of the podcast, I will leave it on mute as well, and we can just talk over it. I know you don't have the trailer up either, so yeah,
I'll tell
I
you. I'll tell you what's really cool though.
go on.
They released like the Lego model of his Batmobile.
Oh, okay.
Like I know, I know, like I don't know if you've seen like pictures of the Batmobile. It's pretty much just a roided up Mustang, but like the Lego version looks so cool, man. I'm like sold on it. Like I want to buy one.
I can imagine it would cost your arm and a leg and a firstborn child though. So
I think it's $200. I think it's 200
that's
bucks.
not disgustingly overpriced. I thought it would cost I
Oh
thought
yeah,
it'd be four figures, you know. So it's not actually too bad. Yeah, I don't know. I know you're
looks
really into
cool, man.
Lego. I know Kate's into Lego. I wish I could justify being into Lego, but it's so expensive.
Oh, it'll be definitely something that I can justify. Like my nephew, be like, "Yo, Seth, do you wanna get some Lego for Christmas? We'll go halves on a Batman, a Batmobile."
I do have a Lego Christmas story that I'm not prepared to share in the podcast yet.
Yeah, yeah, I was gonna. I think I know the story you're talking about.
So for anyone listening, if you really really want to hear that story, maybe one day, but it's yeah, not today. And I know that's a little teaser for something that I might never share, but we'll have to see.
Give him some subs on his stream and make him do it.
We'll see how we go. Because I feel like, yeah. Anyway, what else did they announce at DC fandom?
The other the other one that I was like really pumped for was they had a Flash trailer, and man, it was one of those moments that like it was like watching the trailer. Like I knew Michael Keaton's Batman is going to be in the movie. Like it's just been confirmed and rumored and all that sort of jazz for ages now. But like actually seeing his like cowl show up was just like like iconic instantly. Now like this movie's meant to be like loosely based on the Flashpoint story. So like if you know the Flashpoint story, you know how cool of a story it is and like implications it has for like the whole like DC universe
See, I'm more
going forward.
excited for the Flashpoint movie only because they can blow everything up and start again and make it a nice consistent universe and nice um like timeline it and work everything out and will they do it? I don't know. If for those of you who have read the Flashpoint comics, not everything changes either. So it's probably a really good way to work around some issues with some characters they currently have. If Henry Cavill will even come back as Superman, different things, what's actually happening with the universes and everything like that. So it's probably like a good way to just nuke everything and start again. And that, in my opinion, that's what I think DC needs to do. Um, because I don't think I'm the only one who watches these trailers and kind of goes, I'll watch it rather than, whoa, new Flash trailer with Batman. And, like, I should be. Like, that's what I should be like, but it just, um, yeah, I don't know. I feel like I'm not the only one that's kind of dropped the
Yeah.
ball on DC Comics. And this is coming from a guy, again, grew up, DC Comics was pinnacle for me compared to Marvel or any other superhero stuff out there, so,
See, I'm
yeah.
I'm of the approach that like DC. I mean, yeah, DC should just like kind of drop the whole trying to do connected cinematic universes and just drop good films. Like that's what they need to do at the moment. Like their best films, as of recent, have been the ones that don't really connect to anything. So I'm excited for what's coming, but I'm the same as you. Is like I would like to see them do like a whole sort of reset, like
They
refresh, reset.
they don't have to do a Marvel thing either. Like I feel like that ship sailed and they
Yeah.
tried that and it failed and everything and what's happened happened. Zack Snyder movie was brilliant. Thought it was fantastic. Loved it. I don't think they need to really touch that and go back to that. But I just even if they do these anthologies and different films and different time periods, maybe some consistency with everything would be really nice rather than like what the fuck? I feel. I don't know. Another really confusing thing as well, because the whole DC event wasn't just movies, it was a few other things as well. The game's coming out. So there's two games, one both produced by Warner Brothers, but one is from Rocksteady, which is the Suicide Squad game, which that trailer I saw, and that I was really excited for more than the movies. Yeah, I was a huge fan of the Arkham games. I've played all of them except for the prequel one, Arkham Origins. Yeah, that's the one.
It's not by Rocksteady anyway.
Yeah, yeah. But I remember owning it and playing some of it, and I got to the Deathstroke parts, and they were pretty fun to play. But no, those Rocksteady games are brilliant and really really well done. So I'm not a huge Suicide Squad fan. Uh, the premise is okay to me. It's nothing special, but because it's Rocksteady, yeah, super super keen and super excited for it.
Yeah, it's not one of those games that I'm sitting here going like, I absolutely will buy this, but like it's one of the ones that I'm like, all right, I'll keep an eye on this, see what's coming. I'm excited, but like, cautiously excited. I don't know if that's the best way to say it, but yeah. And what you didn't like the Gotham Knights trailer?
So yeah, not that I didn't like it. I thought that was fantastic as well. That's probably something I guess you've coined a new phrase because I'm going to say cautiously excited for. Coined and minted, Lucas Gooden 2021. No, I think I'm excited. It looks fine. It looks fun, but to have this really really well done story, and it's for everyone who doesn't know, it takes place after the Arkham Knight, and spoilers in that. Um, if anyone watch, actually, should we spoil that? I kind of feel like if people haven't played it, they really need to go play those games.
Oh, it's not attached to the Arkham. I thought Gotham Knights isn't attached to the Arkham universe. And
It takes place after the game though, after Arkham Knight, but it's
yeah,
not
but it's not
canon.
actually canon.
So
Yeah.
okay, because it's in this trailer, I guess we can spoil what happens in Arkham Knight. Batman, quote unquote, dies, and if you want to look into that more, go play the video game. And now in this game, the Court of Owls appeared, which is this kind of underground cult, Illuminati type bad guys, and the Nightwing, Robin, Batgirl, Batwoman, Red Hood, they all have to kind of fight their way through this new threat and discover what's happening. So the premise is super cool. I'm not 100% convinced on the gameplay and everything else. So we'll see. Cautiously excited. I kind of like it, but yeah, I don't know. That's where I stand on that one.
Draw my prediction.
You think it's going to suck?
Damian Wayne is the final boss.
Whoa.
I look. I would not like if they're building it up as a whole, like Bat family fighting together. They've got to have like a Bat family person on the other side.
What if it's
So,
Bruce?
uh, yeah, like because they and this is me just being like how Rocksteady handled Arkham Knight, like how they said, "Oh no, the Arkham Knight's a completely different character. It's a completely new character," and then just continued to make him Red Hood. Um, when they dropped the first trailer, because I haven't actually watched the two new trailers or whatever they've brought out about these games, but when they dropped the new trailer, they made a big point of saying, "Yeah, no, Bruce is 100% dead. Yeah, Batman's dead." So it also wouldn't surprise me if they've got like somehow got Bruce fighting as a Talon or whatever in the Court of Owls. So it's just Rocksteady.
Yeah.
Well, I think it's more of a Warner Brothers thing because with they did it with Arkham Origins as well, where they're like, "Oh, look, the big bad in this whole game is going to be Black Mask," and then Spoilers, it's
Yeah,
not. It's not Black Mask.
yeah. It's a
Yeah.
yeah. I don't know. I think it's Warner Brothers being really protective of their IP, and I know at the start of the year. Sorry, at the start we had an earlier podcast where we talked about Batman Catwoman situation and the Harley Quinn show, and everyone who hasn't seen that should go watch it because that's a fantastic show too. Um, but they obviously have their situations with their characters and they really want to protect their IP and almost to a detriment because I think that's why the movies weren't as good. I think especially Green Lantern was a bad movie because it was badly produced by Warner Brothers. They tried to make it really, really almost to the T. This weird kind of like it's almost like executives in suits just made that movie and kind of pushed it through almost to a T. So I think they're too protective of the characters, and I think with James Gunn's Suicide Squad, they've kind of dropped the act a little bit, and I think they've learnt their lesson a few times. So fingers crossed they stay out of the way a little bit more from now on, and we get some cool, products like comics, movies, and games and everything. So I will
I,
say,
I,
I'll go on.
I,
Sorry.
are you going to keep on the same topic?
No.
Okay, because I have possibly one of the weirdest segues ever.
How? Wait. Where are you segueing to? And have I ruined it by asking?
No, look, just let me do this. All right, so
Go on.
in the Batman trailer, they actually show off Catwoman because you were talking about Catwoman before, and it's actually Zoe Kravitz is playing Catwoman. Who, oh man, she's like one of my Hollywood crushes is Zoe Kravitz. But do you know who Zoe Kravitz's stepdad is?
Look.
Do you?
I
Do you know who
want.
it is?
I want to say. Well, is her dad Lenny Kravitz?
Her dad is Lenny Kravitz. Yes.
And
Do you know who her stepdad is though?
uh, Michael Keaton. I don't know.
No, it's the coolest man on earth, Jason Momoa.
Oh, okay.
So in a segue, Aquaman trailer was just Jason Momoa talking about Aquaman. Like it wasn't really a trailer, man. They just kind of like talked about like, oh yeah, Aquaman movie is coming in 2022, and everyone in the cast seems really excited. They managed to like sneak everyone in like the main cast except for Amber Heard, who you just see like the back of her head at one point. So I found the first movie fun. I didn't think it was a great movie. It was fun. I like Jason Momoa as we've said before, is like he is the epitome of cool guy. So,
I don't know. I really just that movie was so just whatever. Like you didn't need to see it at all.
yeah.
Which is a shame because I like Jason Momoa's Aquaman too, and in Aquaman 1. No, I liked him as Aquaman, and I thought he did brilliant. I just thought the movie was I thought the direction was actually really good. The Fast and Furious guy, Justin Wong,
James
James Wong.
James Wan.
James Wan. Sorry, James. I do apologize. He literally did just
Podcast.
man. If any cool director, if there's ever a role where I can get on a James Wan movie and get your name wrong, and you know what, I will do it. If there's ever that brought up, just to repay you for butchering your name on a small podcast that everybody should like and subscribe and share and tweet James Wan.
There's one scene in Aquaman that I'm like, that was possibly one of the coolest scenes, and it's so unfortunate that it's used in a movie that, that's like doesn't have that appeal to everyone. And it's the rooftop scene where they're like,
Yeah.
they're chasing like Aquaman and Jason Momoa, and then it like zooms out to the background, and they're chasing Mira and like Amber Heard and that sort of thing. But it's all like one continuous scene. That's really cool. I really like that, like how they did that.
It's like a really good parallel as to where all the characters are and how they're
Yeah,
moving. So yeah, I think that was fantastically shot too.
yeah,
Um, yeah, so hopefully we get more of that. Hopefully we get a better story and not just it was pretty basic in that film, I think, and maybe too much was going on and too little was going on. So I don't know what was wrong with the movie. I can't even put my finger on it right now. Keep in mind I've seen
It's
it
more the
once.
yeah, it's more the back end was just like that. It just happened. Like the thing that you expect to be the big plot of the movie is just kind of relegated to the last 20 minutes or whatever. So I think it was more just a pacing issue, really. Like um, they did really like a really good job of just like establishing Jason Momoa's character and where he is in the whole world, but they just tied the whole thing up too quickly. Um, they introduced Black Manta, which they really didn't need to in this one because he's just, a bit of a bit player. So
Hopefully he has a
apparently,
bigger
like
role in
he's
the
back in the
second one.
next one.
Yeah.
So yeah,
I thought Black Manta was really good too.
I
I
like
think he
Black
got a
Manta as a
bit
character.
like nerfed or cucked as in the movie. Like I don't think he did as much as he could have. I thought he should have done a lot more, but didn't, and it kind of almost frustrated me. But I guess it's like almost his origin story too. So he's
Yeah,
figuring out his place in the universe. I guess at the same time as Aquaman is, but
yeah,
yeah, I do remember that actually. There was that big, becoming like the king of Atlantis and having these two worlds brought together was kind of just whatever as well. And like um, the bit where he actually becomes Aquaman and puts on the armor, and it's kind of just like, yeah, it just happened. It's whatever now. Like you got to accept it. Which yeah, I know I didn't like it at all. I know you said Jason Momoa was the coolest man on earth, but is he in a rap song? That can Jason Momoa rap?
I'm sure he could, man. I'm sure
Because
he could.
because I have a candidate who just dropped a rap song and he's also Black Adam. We got a Black Adam teaser as
Yeah.
well.
It is. I reckon it's a very very tight race up there between those two blokes. They are some big sweaty men.
They are some big sweaty men with huge smiles, and they just, I don't know, they just like make you feel good in a weird way. Uh,
When's Vince getting Jason Momoa in WWE? It's got to happen surely.
I
Or
don't
does he
know.
look too much like Roman Reigns?
He does look a lot like Roman Reigns, actually. I could see their face
Yeah,
off happening though, and it'd be pretty cool.
yeah. Because I feel like the inevitable end of the storyline with like Roman. Like, I'm sorry for going on a wrestling tangent, but we're going there, all right? The inevitable end to Roman Reigns' storyline is him fighting The
Finn
Rock at
Balor.
WrestleMania.
All right.
It's got to be hit surely, right? It's got to be him fighting The Rock at WrestleMania.
I don't think he needs it. I don't think The Rock needs it. I don't think WWE needs it. I think it needs to be. We
It
need.
is though. You know it. That's what the inevitable end is, right?
Yeah, but like, who should it be? And don't say The Rock. The Rock doesn't
Oh,
need.
maybe.
And The Rock would lose too, honestly. Wait, who'd you say? Adam Cole. It should be Adam Cole. I'd much prefer Adam Cole. Give it to the kid.
Yeah.
Give it
It
to,
is older than Roman Reigns.
well, the one that was in NXT for 4 years, and he's kind of got his own path. And man, I know they're all killing it in AEW now, which is awesome. But you know, I just feel like it shouldn't need to be The Rock. It should need to be another Daniel Bryan moment, because they've built this guy
Yeah.
up as the big, like, basically the big bad end game. Or if you guys like Dungeons and Dragons, and this is my tangent to go on now. In Dungeons and Dragons, you kind of build up the big bad end game boss, and you build the whole campaign, and sometimes it takes 6 months. Or I know people who've played campaigns for 2 years plus. Whatever it ends up being, that's where you get to at the end of your story, and that's kind of like your journey all the way. So they've built Roman Reigns up as this kind of like boss fight. If you know video games as well, he's the boss fight that I don't think The Rock needs to come in and be like, and The Rock would lose too. I honestly think they would make The Rock lose to Roman Reigns. They need someone to come in and just win against Roman, and it should be Finn Balor. It should be a Royal Rumble winner, 100%. it should be like a Finn Balor or a Kevin Owens or a Shinsuke Nakamura. Who?
You know how I see them booking it?
Go
I've
on.
just this is my like. So just imagine WrestleMania next year, right? You have whoever like as you were saying, like a Finn Balor or a Kevin Owens or even a Sami Zayn, man. If you turn Sami Zayn face again, someone like that face wins the Royal
Cesaro?
Rumble.
Sorry to cut you off,
Yeah,
but
yeah,
Cesaro?
yeah. Cesaro, like someone like a real plucky underdog. They need to build up that it's just like there's no way they're gonna win, and then instead of having like a big Rock payoff at WrestleMania, Rock versus Roman, it would be the Rock screws Roman to help this plucky underdog win. And then that sets up, obviously, Roman and The Rock at like SummerSlam or something like that, where
Didn't
it's
they
like
do that 10
no
years
belts
ago?
involved. Hey,
They did that 10 years ago. It's called Roxina.
I know, but like that
The
sets up,
plucky underdog was The Miz.
but that sets up The Rock coming back and being able to win without winning the belt.
In the belt. I don't think the belt's the. Maybe the belt's the issue, but it's the fact that Roman's at that John Cena-ish level, and I don't think he's there yet. No, I don't not feel comfortable calling him that, but it's just he still has the baggage of how WWE tried to push him so hard, and they still do. Like, let's be honest, he's always at the top of the card, and I think that's a lot of baggage for him to handle. But I do see him being at that John Cena-ish top. That's all he'll ever be level. Heel or face. I think the Rock Roman feud just comes with just that little bit too much baggage for me to actually get behind. Don't get me wrong, like I know the Rock's old and we've seen what happens when Goldberg comes back and Undertaker and Shawn Michaels. I still think the Rock could pull it off, but I don't think we need to see the
You
Rock.
do know what's happening this weekend, right? There's Crown Jewel. I'm pretty sure it's this weekend, which you've got Roman versus Lesnar, which it's pretty much already confirmed is going to be a screwy finish. Like it's just going to be something stupid because they're like Lesnar's confirmed for like 2 matches, so something dumb's happening because Saudi Arabia shows are just like glorified house shows because nothing really ever happens with a lot happening. And then Goldberg versus Bingo's happening again.
Well,
Goldberg
I know what
versus
I'm doing
Bobby.
next Monday. Anything else but watching that pay-per-view.
They don't usually have it on a Monday though, do they?
Oh,
I'm pretty
that's
sure they have
right,
it
because Crown Jewel's
because it's Saudi Arabia. Yeah, so I think it's like a Wednesday usually or something like that. It's something weird.
also not going to. Actually, I tell you what. You know what's really, really cool? And this podcast is called Not to Get Political, but let me go in just a little tiny bit. You can have a sneak peek at some politics here. They're doing not just the King of the Ring final there, but the Queen of the Ring final there. And I know what a huge moment it was when chick wrestlers or female wrestlers were there the first time. So I think that's really cool that they're going back there to finish the tournament there. I won't say too much else on that because, again, not to get political podcast, we like to keep it out. But go on.
Is it going to be the only 2 women that are okay with performing there? Like, because that was what it was last time. It was like 2 women who were okay and they had to wear like full body suits.
I know. Like, it's
progress, but
it's shithouse, but it's progress. And that's, you know, yeah.
If it's on Sunday, I'll be watching the Costa versus Vittori fight instead. Which I'm keen for it. I'm hoping it's like, pre Adesanya Costa where he just walked forward and threw. Because that's all he did to like every other opponent before he fought Adesanya was just, he just steamrolled everyone without actually like worrying about like defense. I've never liked Vittori, so I would like to see Costa win that one. it's number 2 versus number 5, so it's a cool little matchup.
I don't know. I just want to see a good fight. I'm pretty impartial to either one of them winning. Whatever happens, happens. I think it's
Yeah.
just yeah. I don't know. It just seems like it'd probably be a good fight. So yeah, I guess that's where I
There's
stand on
like
that
no
one.
one else really on the card. Like I looked at it before, and it's like the co-main is Grant Dawson and Rick Glenn, who just
One of
sound
them
like
sound like a
NPC characters.
one of them sounds like a used car salesman versus a weatherman. I feel like that's what we're getting here. Um,
Grant Dawson is 17-1. It's not a bad little record.
yeah, but is he? What's his weather predicting record? Because that's what he sounds like.
It's a lightweight fight too, so that could go, man.
Yeah.
That could. I reckon that's going to be like one of those, like unsuspecting, like barn burner sort of like match of the like fight of the year candidate that like no one saw coming. I don't know either of the guys, so it
Yeah,
could be
that's a
horrible.
long call.
But lightweight with a guy that's like, it seems like he's an up and coming prospect at like 27. He's still quite young, so that's about all I'll watch on that card.
Fair enough.
Um, we didn't actually talk about the Black Adam trailer, did we?
No, you went straight to WWE instead. Um,
It's literally just like, you know how like the Jason Momoa Aquaman one was just Jason Momoa talking about it. Well, it was like Pierce Brosnan was just talking about Black Adam because he's playing Doctor Fate, and I think that's really
okay,
cool.
that's almost yeah. That's piqued my curiosity a fair bit actually.
Yeah, so he's playing Doctor Fate. They had like a couple of the other actors and that sort of thing, and it was like they had Zachary Levi who plays Shazam,
Yeah.
and oh no, they had a Shazam trailer as well, so that wasn't even connected to it. But
Okay, I didn't
um,
know they had a Shazam trailer as well.
yeah, I completely forgot.
You know what does it? You know what's really weird is how long do you think it's been since The Rock announced that he was Black Adam? I swear it's been like almost a decade at this point
I
because
think it's like 8 years.
that's
Like
so
they mentioned it in the trailer. Like it's literally a passion project for The Rock. Like um, DC had no plans on making a Black Adam movie. It was The Rock wanted to do it.
well. I remember he was teasing it on Instagram years and years ago. Um,
Yeah,
just he had that hash. He had the John Stewart versus Superman. He goes hashtag John Stewart could kick Superman's ass, and there was a character that he might have wanted to play. And I think people were still they were talking about Superman and all these
yeah,
other characters for him. And I think yeah, eventually he wanted to be Shazam, or Shazam just kind of fell to him, which is awesome.
Black Adam.
He he also says the word Shazam to transform, right?
Yeah,
That's where
I don't think he ever actually says it. I think that's just the like thing to summon him
no, I remember
because they do say it in the trailer.
in the comics.
He's not saying it.
I remember in the comics,
Probably.
Black Adam was one of the original champions or a corrupted champion, whatever happened. And the host for Black Adam, and I think he's almost like a one and the same at this point. Like how, I guess Levi or Shazam is still Billy Batson as well. So the Black Adam character, he's kind of old and he's ancient. I think if he reverts back to his normal form, he basically instantly dies of old age because he's thousands of years old. So who knows what this character's like, and hopefully we see something special and cool. I like The Rock. I think he makes good films, and yeah, I don't know.
Yeah. Oh, like I think it's going to get a lot of people interested in a character that like no one really knows about, which is cool. Um, I don't think
Yeah,
I've ever read
interested in
anything Black Adam.
Doctor Fate, one of the coolest characters nobody knows about.
I honestly think that's really cool. Um, I mean, my like Pierce Brosnan experiences watching Die Another Day, which I think we talked about that on like another podcast, but not a good movie, but like my brain image of it is like loving it because I was quite young when it came out, you know. So
Yeah.
he was also in Goldeneye. He did quite a few Bond movies actually.
I think he's second to Daniel Craig now because Daniel Craig, this is the latest one for how many he's been in or whatever it's been.
Yeah,
Which I know we talked about this too, but I definitely remember them saying that Daniel Craig wasn't going to be the next Bond.
yeah,
Um,
no, they just threw a whole heap of money at him.
okay, fair enough. I mean, if they threw
That,
a bunch of money
yeah,
at me, I'd be James Bond for another film. Warner Brothers. No, who does? Is it Warner Brothers?
that's not Warner Brothers, is it?
Paramount somewhere. Anyway, Secret Service. If you're looking for your next James Bond and you want to give me a shitload of money, I'll do it. I'll take up the role. I'd probably have to do a lot of training, but yeah, no, I'd do it. So there we go.
Yeah. Um,
You got nowhere to
what
go
was
from
I-
there, do you?
no, no, I was sorry. I was looking up who it was produced by, but it's just not coming up for me. Um, I like one of my favorite little like tidbits is, do you know like James Bond is based off Christopher Lee?
That's badass.
Yeah, so the guy who wrote it is like a good friend, like the original James Bond books was a good friend of Christopher Lee, and like he based the James Bond character off Christopher Lee. I thought that was a really cool
That's so
little
badass.
thing.
He,
Yeah,
I'm,
that's Ian Fleming was
I'm gonna
the
say
writer.
it. Underrated of one of the coolest people to ever exist is definitely Christopher Lee.
Oh yeah, he was like in war camps and stuff like that. Like he's had like some really cool like um what you call it, like backstories.
Well, there's that story that Peter Jackson tells now, and I know Christopher Lee told it too when he was alive, and it's on the behind the scenes and stuff about that stabbing where the character Saruman gets stabbed, um, and he
Yeah.
goes, no, you don't scream when
Oh
you get stabbed. Uh, you actually kind of lose breath and exert all this breath because you can't scream because you lost all your air from being stabbed. And I remember Peter Jackson goes, "Oh, how do you know that?" And he goes, "Because I've been stabbed." And it's just like I don't. And I remember Peter Jackson's reply was, "Okay, let's not argue with the man who's been stabbed." So it's like, yeah, who he's done that. He was Dracula. He was Count Dooku, which is where I remember first seeing him. Because I thought Count Dooku was really cool. Yeah, he's been in a ton of things. He met Tolkien. He was in the British Secret Service. He has a Christian rock band. Definitely underrated for one of the most cool people to ever exist.
it's Metro Golden Myers, like the big lion head
Oh,
one.
the Lionhead one. Give us your best
Yeah,
Lionhead role, would you? I know I threw you on the spot there. I couldn't imagine you doing it.
no, so that's who does it. Or Eon Productions, which I maybe that did the early ones, or if that's doing the new ones, I'm not 100% sure.
See, I swear it was a Sony picture. I swear it was a Sony film.
I don't know. I've seen all of them on a streaming service earlier this year, but I can't remember what it was. And I do want to go back and watch them all, but
I would
it's a
watch.
massive undertaking.
I'd probably watch the Daniel Craig ones and then maybe the hits, like the really good
Yeah,
ones, and
yeah.
GoldenEye because I remember playing the video game growing up, and I never saw the movie, so I was like, I don't get this game, and everyone's like, oh, best shooter ever, and I'm just like, eh.
It's a Sean Bean movie.
Does he die in the movie? Don't spoil it
Yep.
for me. Damn it. Oh,
It's
well,
Sean Bean, man.
yeah,
He dies
okay.
in the movie.
To be fair, I didn't need you to spoil that for me to figure out what would happen.
Do you want to know another cool little tidbit?
Go on.
Sean Bean actually dies in less movies than he survives in. It's like something like he has a 70% survival rate in movies. It's just the movies that are like more memorable are the ones that he dies in.
Makes sense though. Like,
Yeah,
I'm not gonna watch him in some fucking indie film where he makes it the whole way through. Where I'm definitely watching The Lord of the Rings or Game of Thrones where he's like carks it pretty quickly. Um, yeah,
spoiler.
I think he's a great actor, by the way. I think
Yeah,
he's great.
I love me some Sean Bean.
I was devastated when he died. Again, spoilers for Game of Thrones. Because I thought he was like my favorite character in the show. He was stoic. He was kind of heroic. Had all this cool like backstory sort of stuff. And he goes, I remember he was talking to Jon Snow. He goes, "When I get back, I'll tell you all about your mother and father and all this shit." And I was like, "Cool, really cool."
Yeah,
Um, then dies quickly, almost. That whole show kind of has this kind of theme of death doesn't mean shit as well. So I don't know. I just Sean Bean's
Jason
dead.
spoiled that for me.
I had a friend on Facebook, and it took me ages to keep watching Game of Thrones. Season 4 just came out, and I think one of the first or second episodes, Joffrey carks it, and I remember discussing with him so close to the episode coming out. It's like, hey, let's not say anything till we all have seen it. And then he puts up a photo of Joffrey dead on Facebook. I'm like, I'm not fucking watching the show anymore. I couldn't stand it. I was like, I gave up on it for so long. Yeah.
That would make me want to watch it more, knowing that Joffrey actually does die.
Nah, because I missed the
Boring.
payoff. I was pissed
Yeah.
off because, you're supposed to hate Joffrey. He's a character that everyone hates. And I didn't get the payoff to watching him die. It just kind of got spoiled for me. So I was like, well, that's all I really cared about anymore in this show. So I'm pissed off now.
I do say that Jason spoiled like the Eddard Stark death, but it was a little bit less than that. He was like, when he was selling me on the series, he's like, "Yeah, you've got to go watch this series. Like, the guy that you think is the main character, he just dies. Like, it's so good."
Yeah, I
That was
remember.
literally how he
Yeah.
sold me on it. Yeah.
I remember him saying that a fair few times. He also, you know what he spoiled for me? And I don't know if you saw the movie with us, but I think you did. Man of Steel. And I don't know how he spoiled it, but he goes, yeah, Superman snaps Sod's neck in the end and cries about it. And he was like, yeah, Superman's a bitch because he cries. And I was just like, fuck off, he does not. We go watch the movie, and the first thing he does when the movie finishes is goes, told you. And I was just like, how did you know? The movie wasn't even out when you told me that. And yeah, it was just, he's very, very weird with pop culture, that guy. Like, I don't know. It's almost a superpower. It's hard to explain, actually. We should get him on the podcast sometime if he's not busy.
I'd love to have him on the podcast.
I think it would be a fantastic episode, us three on the podcast. So I haven't even talked to him about it. So Jason, if you're watching, or we'll message you sometime and we'll try and get you on when you're not being incredibly.
You got to
busy.
wear your purple wiggle shirt.
If you wear your purple wiggle shirt, I will wear the wiggle hat. All stream. All podcast.
I'll wear the like best man gown you got me.
You got a gown?
Yeah. Oh, actually, sorry. It says mother of the bride. I think it is. No, mother of the groom. I think it says.
I thought you got a Ric Flair, like a robe, and it just says best man instead of Ric Flair on it. I was like, man, that's what I need to get my best man for my wedding.
It's like he got like one of the robes that's identical to the like the bridesmaids like gowns sort of things for me, but it says like mother of the groom. I'm pretty sure.
That's really.
I would grab it, but I literally put it away today. Like I put it in my suitcase because I was like, that's something I need to have like when I go back to Australia. So I was like,
did he send it to you, or did he give it to you when you were over here?
No, he sent it to me.
That's brilliant.
Apparently his partner Lauren had no idea what he was sending.
I feel more sorry for his partner's mother, because that's a bit. She's like gonna have to look. It's like, where did my My piece
No,
go.
it's Mother of the Groom.
Mother.
Mother of the
Oh, so
Grooms.
Sharon's gonna.
Sharon, yeah.
Okay, I feel more sorry for Sharon than anyone, I should say.
She'll like that
I thought
though.
Mother of the Bride is almost as funny as Mother of the Groom. So either way, I feel like you got a very good best man gif.
Yeah.
Speaking of
So
gifs, unfortunately, we cannot be present for much longer. We're going. Um, we'll wrap up the podcast.
okay. Yeah.
Was
So
that
what? We're dying.
that was the best segue I've ever done, and you just had this confused look on your face, like you had no idea what was going on. And
Gifts. I was like, what? What are we talking about? Gifts? And then
because
you're
we're in
like,
the present and we're doing the podcast, and people are listening. How do you not put two and two together? I'm gonna work on my segue game. I really do.
what presence is a present?
Kiss my
It's my
ass,
ass.
bitch. So Lucas, you're cringing at your own line right there, I think, or mine. What should everyone do who enjoyed the podcast?
Go out, buy yourself a steak. If you're not into steak, then that's not like the best option. Maybe go get like a schnitzel or like
Pork
some
chops?
fries and maybe a pork chop or something. And like while you're doing that, get your phone and go to like YouTube and like go to our podcast, like, subscribe, maybe chuck a little comment down the bottom. Tell us what you enjoy. Anything you're like really excited for that we could talk about, let us know. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Well, hopefully you enjoy your cuisine and the podcast, and we'll see you guys next week. Bye.